Mr. Speaker, you are live.
The House will please come to order. Welcome members to the 9th day of session, Friday, February 5th. We appreciate you joining us. We appreciate all of Wyoming and whoever else may be tuning in. Chief Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Convening roll call for the 9th day, Friday, February 5th, 2021. Andrew.
Here.
Baker.
Here.
Banks.
Here.
Bear.
Here.
Blackburn.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Burkhart.
Here.
Hurt.
Present.
Clausen. Clausen.
Here.
Clifford excused. Connolly.
Here.
Crago.
Present.
Duncan. Duncan. Eklund.
Here.
Air.
Here.
Flitner. Flitner. Fortner.
Here.
Gray.
Here.
Greer.
Here.
Hallinan.
Here.
Haroldson.
Here.
Harshman.
Here.
Heiner.
Here.
Henderson.
Here.
Hunt.
Here.
Jennings. Jennings. Kenner.
Here.
Knapp.
Here.
Larson Lloyd.
Here.
Larson Dan.
Here.
McGuire.
Present.
Martinez.
Here.
Nyman.
Here.
Newsom. Here. Nicholas. Nicholas. Oakley.
Here.
Obermuller.
Here.
O'Hearn.
Here.
Olson.
Here.
Ottman.
Here.
Paxton.
Here.
Provenza.
Here.
Roscoe.
Here.
Schwartz.
Here.
Sherwood.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Summers.
Here.
Stiff.
Here.
Stivar.
Present.
Sweeney.
Here.
Walters.
Here.
Washut.
Here.
Western.
Here.
Worf.
Here.
Williams.
Present.
Wilson.
Here.
Winter.
Here.
Yin.
Here.
Zwanitzer.
Here.
Mr. Speaker.
Here.
Duncan.
Here.
Flitner.
Excused.
Excused. Jennings.
Excused.
Excused. Nicholas.
Here.
We have 57 present, 3 excused.
Thank you, Chief Clerk. Members, if you'll join me in prayer. Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. Heavenly Father, we just come to you still. Tumultuous times all around us. Calm times, all times, we come before you. We are thankful. I am thankful for this 66th Wyoming legislature, my colleagues, our staff, the citizens of Wyoming who entrusted us to come and represent them. I'm thankful for this time that we've been able to do work on behalf of those folks and do that work honoring you in our words and our deeds and our actions. I ask that you would continue to bless this Wyoming House of Representatives. Bless our families who see us depart and then come home, sometimes distracted by the work that we've been doing. Help bridge those times. We thank you for taking care of our families, our businesses, and all those things while we are here serving. We lift up this time in our service to you. May it be honoring. We praise you in your Son's precious name. Amen. You would join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. All right, members. So today we have, it's kind of a lot of busy work day, and the people that are busy are our staff as they get bills ready for enrolling and concurrences and signing, etc. So we're going to take up some concurrences. We'll sign some bills, take some messages from the Senate, and then we'll probably stand at ease for a bit, and then we'll do a little more. And then there's a transition. So we'll probably have an hour and a half of things to do this morning, maybe a little bit of wait time as we stand at ease. We'll come back in at 2 o'clock and we should finish our business today within a pretty short amount of time after 2. So that's kind of the way the chief clerk and I and our LSO staff kind of see the day working out. I want to thank Chairman Greer for the meeting he had this morning. Sounded like it went, a lot of good information was shared there. Chairman Paxton has informational meeting at noon for Education Committee, so folks are welcome to participate in that. So at this time, Chief Clerk, messages from the Senate, or actually Chief Clerk, sorry, Journal Committee report.
Your Journal Committee reports that the Journal of February 4th, 2021 has been read and recommend that it be approved. Signed, Representatives Harrelson and Provenza.
Thank you very much. We're on now that order of business of messages, a request to concur. Is that right, Clerk?
Message from the Senate first.
Oh, I'm sorry, messages from the Senate.
Message 145, Mr. Speaker, House Joint Resolution 1, Traumatic Brain Injury and Post-Traumatic Stress Treatments. The House bill listed above passed on third reading in an amended form as follows by the vote indicated. Ayes 18, noes 12. The Senate respectfully asks the House to concur by adopting the listed amendments. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk.
Thank you, Chief Clerk. We are now at that order of business of request to concur with Senate amendments to House bills. The first message for our consideration is message 136 on House Bill 15. Chairman Zwanitzer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to move message 136 and ask for an aye vote on concurrence. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll remember this is from House Bill 15 on the Department of Transportation communication facilities. So what our good friends did down the hall, twofold. First, you'll see an amendment they brought on second reading that just clarifies the intent that WYDOT doesn't necessarily own all of these towers. In some cases, they just operate them under certain agreements, public and private. So certainly not controversial and made sense to the statute. The second piece is originally anticipated in this bill, they were going to create a separate maintenance account for the telecommunication system. Our good colleagues down the hall believed that they didn't need a whole new account, but they found an existing account, their ISF, their internal service fund, and they brought an amendment to merely have a separate accounting as part of that fund to keep track of the funding instead of creating yet another fund in state government. And I think we can all agree we don't need any more coffee cans than we have to have. So if there are no questions, I would ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Any members for their first time on concurrence message 136, House Bill 15? House Bill 15. Members, we are voting. Oh, so I see two now. I have Representative Gray and then Representative Larson. Or, yeah. Sorry, I saw them in that order. Representative Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So my question is on getting rid of the account. I mean, it's separately. I mean, does the appropriations folks, do they think that's sufficient? I mean, I kind of like the separate accounts. You know, it's coffee cans. Some of them need to go. SIPA needs to go because it's not going to something that. But this, another coffee can for this, I think is okay. I mean, so I'm not thrilled about that amendment. So, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Gray. Representative Larson, and then Chairman Harshman.
Thank you.
Larson
Mr.
Dan, or Larson Lloyd, so excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, and to the good chairman. If he could just clarify to me, I was just trying to bring it up. Okay, so my recollection of this is we was trying to look for ways to get a little bit of maintenance money for these towers by leasing out extra space, if I recall correctly. And so then when we change this word up here, we can lease out that extra space if we own the towers. But if we don't own the towers and we only operate them, is that in conflict with our agreement, or does this only apply as our agreements allow? It seems to be a little bit wonky to me there. So if you could help me understand that, and if and clarify that.
Chairman Harshman, first
Thank you,
time.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and Chairman. I'm going to support the concurrence. Just one real quick question. Just in the separate accounting and the internal service fund, though, it still only can be used really for this purpose, even though, and so it's accounted separately. That's not a hard function, I think, to occur. But I do want to also comment on this coffee can issue. Folks, I think that's a little bit of a red herring out there, and that's the new buzzword. Oh, we got to get rid of coffee cans, too many coffee cans. And I think that's a little bit of this looky here, squirrel in the bushes talk. And I just think many coffee cans at times are very good, and they're all savings accounts. And I think, I think that's kind of a false thing out there. And I think all this stuff needs to be evaluated on its own merit. We've done a lot of good with coffee cans in the past and in the present. So that's my 2 cents worth. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Anyone else for their first time? First time? Anyone for their second time? Second time? Second time before the sponsor. Chairman Zwanitzer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I guess I won't get into coffee cans. But to answer the good question from appropriations, twofold. These are it's not only towers, but it's any communication infrastructure. And I think if you look at the beginning of that sentence, it has to be state funded or state controlled. So in some cases, as long as we are leasing it and we operate it under some type of contract, we may not own it, but we have control over it. And infrastructure in the interim committee was larger than just when you think of towers. There's a lot of other networks out there, et cetera. So I don't think it hurts the bill, and I think it clarifies that we don't have to officially have the state government own it as long as we are in basically control of it through a lease or contract.
Thank you, Chairman. And while I do see Representative Clausen has his hand up, we're on second time. Representative Clausen didn't inquire for the first time, so be out of order. So members, we are voting on the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 15. A majority of the elected members is required. Chief Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrew.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Banks.
Aye.
Clifford. Or excuse me, Bear.
Aye.
Blackburn.
Aye.
Brown. Brown.
Aye.
Burkhart.
Aye.
Burt.
Aye.
Clausen.
Aye.
Clifford excused. Connolly.
Aye.
Crago.
Aye.
Duncan.
Aye.
Eklund.
Aye.
Air.
Aye.
Flitner. Excused. Fortner.
Aye.
Gray.
No.
Rear.
Aye.
Hallinan.
Aye.
Haroldson.
Aye.
Harshman.
Aye.
Heiner.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
Hunt.
Aye.
Jennings. Excused. Kenner.
Aye.
Knapp.
Aye.
Larson Lloyd.
Aye.
Larson Dan.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Nyman.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Nicholas.
Aye.
Oakley.
Aye.
Obermuller.
Aye.
O'Hearn.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Ottman.
Aye.
Paxton.
Aye.
Provenza.
Aye.
Roscoe.
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Sherwood.
Aye.
Simpson.
Aye.
Summers.
No.
Stith.
Aye.
Stivar.
No.
Sweeney.
Aye.
Walters.
Aye.
Washit.
Aye.
Western.
Aye.
Worf.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
Winter.
Aye.
Yin.
Aye.
Zwanitzer.
Aye.
Mr. Speaker.
Aye.
Closing vote. Are there any changes? Larson Dan, aye to no. Fortner, aye to no. Further changes? Closing vote. The vote is closed. 52 aye, 5 no, 3 excused.
By your vote, you have voted to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 15. Next bill for our consideration is message number 145 on House Joint Resolution 1. Chairman Burkhart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move concurrence on House Joint Resolution number 1 and ask for your favorable consideration. Please vote yes. What our good friends down the hall, as we like to say, although I don't know where anyone is right now physically, did with House Joint Resolution was to go in and correct grammar, some spelling, and I think there were 4 changes in total. They don't change the bill in any way other than it reads properly the way it should. For example, they changed the word indicates to indicate and changed like that. And I'd be glad to answer questions.
Thank you, Chairman. Anyone for their first time? Anyone for their first time on message 145, House Joint Resolution 1? First time, second time before the chairman. We are voting on a motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Joint Resolution 1. A majority of the elected members is required. Chief Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrew.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Banks.
Aye.
Bear.
Aye.
Blackburn.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Burkhart.
Aye.
Burt.
Aye.
Clausen.
Aye.
Clifford excused. Connolly.
No.
Crago.
Aye.
Duncan.
Aye.
Eklund.
Aye.
Air.
Aye.
Flitner excused. Fortner.
Aye.
Gray.
Aye.
Greer.
Aye.
Hallinan.
Aye.
Haroldson.
Aye.
Harshman. Harshman. Heiner.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
Hunt.
Aye.
Jennings excused. Kenner.
Aye.
Knapp.
Aye.
Larson Lloyd.
Aye.
Larson Dan.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Nyman.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Nicholas.
Aye.
Oakley.
Aye.
Obermuller.
Aye.
O'Hearn.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Ottman.
Aye.
Paxton.
Aye.
Provenza.
Aye.
Roscoe.
Aye.
Schwartz.
No.
Sherwood.
Aye.
Simpson.
Aye.
Summers.
Aye.
Stiff.
Aye.
Stivar.
Aye.
Sweeney.
Aye.
Walters,
Aye.
Washit,
Aye.
Western,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Wilson,
Aye.
Winter,
Aye.
Yin,
No.
Swanitzer.
Aye.
Mr. Speaker,
Aye.
Clausen,
Aye.
closing vote. Are there any changes? Closing vote. Vote is closed. 54 aye, 3 no, 3 excused.
By your vote, you have voted to concur with Senate amendments to House Joint Resolution 1.
Point of order.
What's your point? And I don't know who it is.
Representative Washington, Mr. Speaker.
Go ahead, please, Representative Washer. What's your point?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On 2 consecutive votes now, we've had a member vote without being visibly streaming, which is in violation of our rules for the virtual session. And I think we need to make sure all of our members are within the bar when we vote.
So I had this question, so thank you very much. So I've had this question come up before, and when somebody keys their voice, their video comes on too. It happened yesterday as well. And so I guess we can, yeah, it happened yesterday too. And I had this, my screen, and I was watching the same thing, but when they said aye, their video cues, it just depends on where they are on your screen. So I do appreciate it. I did call out to a couple of members and sent an email and got responses back to them. So we'll ensure that from now on, ladies and gentlemen, if you're voting, if you're going to vote, that you initiate your video before you initiate your mic, because a lot of times they will key at the same time and the video flashes and then it flashes off. So I do understand that, and I observed that yesterday at somebody's encouragement, and I reached out to a couple of those folks. So thank you very much. It is a valid point, and I appreciate that. So members, if you do have your video off, please start your video before your turn to vote. Thank you. All right, the next message for our consideration is message number 147 on House Bill 13. Chairman Zwanitzer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to move message 147 on House Bill 13 and ask for your aye vote. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the alcoholic beverage regulation bill. Our good friends virtually down the hall did 2 amendments. Let me talk about the second one first. As you'll see in the bottom part of your concurrence, really the first 3 lines are just grammar. You'll see they changed adults to adult in the signage, which makes sense. They added a hyphen and on-site. You'll see me do several grammar things on bills during the session, but I just thought it was a bit early this year for our good friends down the hall. A certain senator likes to grammar check, just like I do. So those are all, I think, not controversial. On the 2 amendments on page 28 and 29, when it talks about permits, these are malt beverage permits for specific purposes like rodeos, fairs, Calcuttas, etc. And our good friends down the hall just added the words under this subsection. So the time and other restraints don't apply to malt beverage permits, let's say in a bar, right? And so it's just a catch to put some sideboard, well, not even sideboards, just a catch to make sure there's no confusion about what we were trying to do in that section. That was the intent. I'm not sure it was necessary, but it doesn't hurt. The amendment on top of your concurrence talks about how you can only order liquor to be delivered during the same day, basically. And so right now, although there's no regulation in statute anymore as of 2 years ago, all of our municipalities and counties have the similar liquor hours besides one city in Sweetwater County, but it's 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so what this amendment says is basically if you order alcohol, it has to be delivered that day. So even if you're calling at midnight, they have to either refuse or give it to you before 2 a.m. Apparently this is in case law from 60 years ago. And so we're not actually making a policy shift with this amendment. They just found an instance of case law and went ahead and added that into the statute. This is the ongoing contract carry debate that you'll remember from a couple days ago. A certain special interest group really wants some sideboards in this area, so they thought putting it at least the case law into statute was an acceptable protection for them. So it doesn't change the current public policy of the state. I personally think it's a little odd, but it's the policy continuation of what we have now within statute and case law. Again, I'd ask for your favorable aye vote on concurrence and answer any questions I can.
Thank you very much. I have Vice Chair Duncan, Representative Stith, and then Representative Schwartz. In that order, Representative Duncan, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is this for just brick and mortar, or does this apply to wine deliveries and such? So if it applies to wine deliveries that you order online, that doesn't make sense. So I'm curious, I need some clarification on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representative Stith, first time.
Mr. Speaker, a similar question with respect to the proposed change on line 12, page 12, line 5, with respect to same-day delivery. Looking at page 11, line 19, it appears that this same-day delivery requirement would apply to Wyoming persons holding manufacturer licenses with a satellite location. And so does this inadvertently have the effect of treating out-of-state wineries, out-of-state manufacturers of distilled spirits more favorably than our own domestic producers? Because it looks like if you're a wine manufacturer, but you also happen to have a satellite location someplace, it seems like this proposed change would not allow you to ship unless it were same day, literally read. And the same for, imagine if you had a distillery that produced a whiskey in Wyoming, it seems like if we require same day shipping, that their competitors from Kentucky will be able to deliver from out of state, but they won't be able to deliver in state. So do we inadvertently, by adopting this, discriminate unfairly against our own producers? Thank you.
Thank you very much. For your first time, Representative Schwartz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I'm looking at the change on page 26, line 19, that changes area to areas. And what I can't tell is if that expands upon the references in line 8 and 9, where they're saying areas approved by the local license authority. Is that the same, or does this actually provide more places to dispense alcohol? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other member for their first time? First time on message 147 to House Bill 13. Any message for anyone else for their first time? Chairman Wilson, first time.
Sorry.
Chairman Wilson, thank you.
So back to the delivery issue, and I'm not trying to kill the bill. I mean, I think it was a cleanup bill, but just to be clear here, this sort of insertion of some sort of case law. So backing up again, because it's on 2 pages here, we've got these, and I really am not knowledgeable about who these the holders are and stuff, but they may deliver or contract to have delivered. So let's say the winery, gets an order. Now, what was described by the presenter of the concurrence was that it had to be basically shipped the same time you got the order, or within the same hours as when you got the order. This is really doesn't say that. I mean, I'm visualizing if a place got an order, say at 6 p.m. and they could send it out the door tomorrow at 9 a.m., which certainly things could, if it's a box of 12 bottles or something like that, But what we're really saying is that the next morning when the winery gives the box of 12 bottles to the delivery people, the delivery person has to be extremely prompt and get to the recipient that day. I mean, we're trying to bring in some sort of case law. I don't even know what it is, but so whose fault is that if the delivery person has a giant route that goes all around the states in a circle and doesn't get there for a day and a half? What I'm not sure that this, to me, this insertion isn't very well thought out, and I'm not sure that I'm not sure that we shouldn't maybe vote no.
Thank you very much, Representative Clausen, and then Representative Hunt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'll take a stab at that last question. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't. It's because liquor law is so strange. The delivery portion, so just the liquor store can deliver. And we took up this issue in committee, and it's gray. So it was done with case or an AG's opinion from 50 years ago. Is why it was inserted, and it's strange. So when you think of delivery, it is just delivery from the liquor store, which is very strange, I know, but liquor law is very strange.
Thank you very much. We have Representative Hunt and then Worf.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And yeah, on that same topic, and I don't, I'm not even necessarily trying to go against, suggesting that we vote this down. But the good chairwoman of Labor Health brought up, the scenario of a statewide route, and obviously we're Wyoming, and we can have bad weather to further implement delivery time. But I was even considering on a more local level, even in town, and I'm kind of going out on a limb here because I can't imagine that there's going to be very many cases where somebody's going to just on a whim call at the last minute. But what I'm pondering here is that there's a certain piece of delivery company out there that once had a "we deliver in 30 minutes or it's free" policy, and they were very serious about that, and it led to some lawsuits because their drivers were trying to meet that demand and were involved in fatal car accidents. And I know that I'm really whipping up probably a worst case scenario, but it does seem like an odd thing to have. And again, I think we should keep this bill alive and afloat and probably vote aye on this concurrence. But I do think that the issue as a whole is something that needs to be discussed and looked at further, possibly in other legislation or, in the interim. So anyway, vote aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have Representative Worf.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I guess I share the same concerns when I read that. I'm not somebody that knows a lot about our liquor laws, but I just think this doesn't make sense. It's too restrictive. I don't know what the penalties are if something happens that some unfortunate soul gets stuck in a snowstorm or they have car problems that prevent them from getting that delivery completed. I don't know enough about this, so I think that's the whole purpose of this idea of having concurrence. And I don't see that necessarily kills the bill by disagreeing. I do think we should vote no, and we should go to conference committee, and we should have some discussion on that, because I just don't think it makes sense to create law that we can't explain to our constituents. And this one to me doesn't make sense. I think it's unreasonable and too restrictive. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have Representative Craigo. And Chairman Wilson, I do see your hand, but we'll go through first time and then we'll go to second time. Thank you. Representative Craigo for your first time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And so I'm just sitting here reading this, and the more I read it, the more confused I get. And one thing that pops into my mind, it says that the delivery has to be made on the same day. So are we talking 24-hour schedule? Are we talking midnight? So if I call it 11:59 and order something, do they have to tell me, nope, you're gonna have to call back at 12:01 because that's a new day? And so I just think it's not very clear. As I sit here and read it, it's, like I said, it's just confusing me more and more. And it actually applies, I mean, to more than the way it's actually written into the bill. It applies to more, I think, than just retail liquor licenses. It applies to all those other entities listed above. And so I guess I'll sign out with that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Any member for their first time? Any other member for the first time on message 147, House Bill 13, concurrence? Any member for their first time? Going to second time before the sponsor, before the chairman. Second time, Chairman Wilson, Representative Stith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is really just a follow-up to my first question. And the fact that I don't remember just shows how, we all have our areas that we spend a lot of time thinking on, and the rest of us, as soon as the bill goes away from our screen, we totally forget everything that we thought about. But I do remember that we had a lengthy discussion about common carriers. So just remind me, did all that common carrier discussion go away? And all the time we spent on common carriers, are we not talking about any common carriers anymore? So it's only the licensee's business truck, say, that's going around, or just help me remember. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. We have Representative Stith and then Vice Chair Duncan.
Mr. Speaker, just urge the body to vote no on concurrence.
Thank you very much. Representative Duncan, second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I as well encourage a no vote on concurrence. We need to go back and fix this. This has too many implications, and the way you read it, it actually applies to shipments, not just your local store or your local restaurant or something like that. It has too many implications. We need to make sure that we're not fencing anybody out by voting to concur. So I urge the body to say no.
Any other member for their second time? We are on second time. Any other member? Any other member? To the chairman, Chairman Zwanitzer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I guess as a chairman, it's nice to hear my answers before I have people, urging people to vote no. But let me try to answer all of your questions to your satisfaction. So first, if you read 125201, which is the licensed building under license permits, these are the licenses that are given by your local licensing authorities, your cities or your counties, right? So we are just talking about your brick and mortar buildings here. You'll see that on page 12, line 3 of the bill. And then for these other, what we call distributors, right? Where you're shipping from a distillery, a winery, that's covered in page 13, line 8, right? That's from Romanet 5, that those are separate. So this does just apply to brick and mortar buildings and establishments, your packaged liquor stores. The good representative from Johnson County, I thought I answered this, but it's whatever your local licensing authority's hours are. And so all but one place in the state, they're 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. I'm sorry, 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. So if you called at 1 a.m. and they said, we just don't have anybody on staff, or we don't believe any one of these new trendy transportation companies you can do an order and get them to you by 2 a.m., they're required to say, no, we can't sell. I had a member ask me, can I just say, hey, deliver me a 6-pack every night all week? No, under this, you would have to call each day or through your mobile app as this anticipates, etc. Trendy business practices. It is a daily thing. To answer the good representative from Teton counties, from area to areas. So your two things, your local licensing authority can permit an area or areas depending on that jurisdiction and what you've petitioned for, applied for, and what they've granted Also, when we say areas, that would include if you have a satellite location in addition to your main site location. So I hope I answered that. Alcohol just it's a tricky area of law. And so this isn't meant to confuse anyone. The common carrier language to answer that question was taken out. Similar debate we had in the House and decided it was just too cumbersome to include that in the statute. Whether or not, I don't think it's any more restrictive than current public policy. And you'll remember I wasn't here asking for concurrence yesterday because I had all these same questions and same thoughts and it didn't make sense. And I've kept talking to senators and associations and groups and they all seem to be telling me, they all seem to say the same thing, that this only applies to your brick and mortar stores, the division that sells alcohol or distributes alcohol in our state, confirmed that, the association confirmed that. So I think it's in 12.5201, this whole section of licensed building in Article 2 just emphasizes that. So if I'm sorry I didn't bring more information and distribute, and the people who brought this amendment, I did ask at least our colleagues down the hall to get me some information, which is coming in now at 10:42. But I do think it makes sense, it fits, and it just limits it to what's currently in case law, not statute. But if you need me to go concur or have a discussion and bring back more information next month, certainly happy to do that, but I don't see any issues with the amendment and would continue to ask for your aye vote.
Thank you very much. So in the Capitol, we're having some internet instability. So if folks elsewhere think we're freezing up, well, we just might be. Representative Wharf, so generally the sponsor of the goes last, and so we will proceed with the vote. So thank you very much.
Point of order.
Yes. What's your point?
Mr. Chairman, my point is my question was not answered, and I never got a chance to speak second because he didn't answer the questions. I should have probably had an opportunity to respond to that. But
so all members, Representative Wharf, all members were offered several times the opportunity to speak for a second time before the chairman, and now we're at the chairman, so second time is completed, so we're moving to the vote. Thank you, Representative Wharf.
Answered my question.
I appreciate the point. We are voting on a motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 13. A majority of the elected members is required. Chief Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrew.
Aye.
Baker.
No.
Banks.
Aye.
Bear.
No.
Blackburn.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Burkhart.
Aye.
Burt.
No.
Clausen.
Aye.
Clifford excused. Connolly.
Aye.
Crago.
Aye.
Duncan.
Aye.
Eklund.
Aye.
Air.
Aye.
Flitner excused. Fortner.
No.
Gray.
No.
Greer.
Aye.
Hallinan.
Aye.
Haroldson.
No.
Harshman.
Aye.
Heiner.
No.
Henderson.
Aye.
Hunt.
Aye.
Jennings excused. Kenner.
Aye.
Knapp. Repeat, please.
Aye.
Larson Lloyd.
Aye.
Larson Dan.
No.
McGuire.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Nyman.
No.
Newsom.
Aye.
Nicholas.
Aye.
Oakley.
Aye.
Obermuller.
Aye.
O'Hearn.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Ottman.
Aye.
Paxton.
Aye.
Provenza. Repeat, please.
Aye.
Roscoe.
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Sherwood.
No.
Simpson.
No.
Summers.
Aye.
Stith.
No.
Stibar.
No.
Sweeney,
Aye.
Walters,
Aye.
Washit,
No.
Western,
Aye.
Warp,
No.
Williams,
No.
Wilson,
No.
Winter,
No.
Yin,
Aye.
Zwanitzer.
Aye.
Mr. Speaker.
Aye.
Closing vote. Are there any changes? Closing vote. Flitner, excuse to?
No.
To no. Further changes? Closing vote. The vote is closed. 39 aye, 19 no, 2 excused.
By your vote, you have voted to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 13. The next message for our consideration is message 148 on House Bill 27. Chairman Zwanitzer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to present message number 148, concurrence on House Bill 27 business code revisions, and would ask for your aye vote. And because I was busy yesterday with the last amendment, making sure it was good to go, I did miss some concurrences, and I just wanted to make sure if it wasn't discussed yesterday by the members, when you see the concurrence request before you, it lists every adopted amendment. And so the middle of the first page where it says second reading amendment adopted, you'll see in the third reading amendment, they deleted that entire amendment and rewrote it. So just X out everything in the middle of the page from the second reading because the third reading amendment stripped that language and rewrote it. So the language, the good attorneys and our colleagues down the hall were trying to take several stabs at until they got it right. And I met for quite a while this morning and lots of emails with the good Secretary of State's office to ensure the language is correct, and they worked with the good sponsors down there. This has to do with service of process. And so you'll read that basically when the entity files itself, it agrees to consent of service by electronic means. So the problem we come into, let's say 15 times a year, somewhere between 5 and 10, is where you try to serve an entity process and for some reason you can't, the registered agent is no longer there, the registered agent's license has been revoked, or the registered agent for some reason is refusing that service of process. Currently what happens if they can't get a hold of the registered agent or the registered agent for some reason refuses, the Secretary of State's office under the current law takes or accepts that process. We call it being perfected, right? And so the Secretary of State perfects that process of being served. So that's a legal requirement. Then the question is, well, how do you notify the entity? And so what the amendment allows is to notify the entity through that electronic means, right? So they can't get a hold of the registered agent for whatever reason. They've already been served process. The Secretary of State's office has it. They are therefore allowed under this amendment to, through electronic means, email basically, and it's a may, not a shall, to consider their obligation fulfilled by using the email on file, if it's good and doesn't bounce, as qualifying their obligations under the statute. I hope that made sense, but if not, I will take a second go at it in the question period. It was kind of confusing, but it was a quirk in the law that when these small number of instances happen, I think they said 12 last year total, that there is a process in law for this service of process to still happen in line with electronic means. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, I'd ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Any member for their first time? Any member for their first time? Representative Craigo, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'm on and for the concurrence, but I did want to note, because I think we need to deal with it in the future, that the language proposed by our good friends down the hall isn't exactly the way it should be written, or at least in my opinion. when we get down to the second sentence of their proposed amendment, where it says that upon acceptance of a summons in accordance with the limited circumstances specified in this subsection. Well, this particular subsection does not really talk about what circumstances allow the Secretary of State to accept a summons. And those are set out in other provisions of statutes throughout the Green Books. And there's various ways that the Secretary of State can be served on behalf of a company. One of them's a non-resident motorist or a non-resident employer. There are occasions when, if we cannot track down the registered agent, and I think that's what they're trying to talk about. If we can't track down the registered agent, or he's unable to be served, he or she, that we can serve the summons by electronic means. And then another issue, which really isn't contained in this, which I also think we may deal with in the future, and I just wanted to mention it is, and I apologize to the body, I really missed this the first time through when we were looking at this statute. Really is just the due process issues with actually sending a summons and a complaint by email rather than by some other means. I see a lot of issues that could arise there, and hopefully we can deal with those in the future. But this is a good bill. It allows our Secretary of State to save a lot of money, and I don't want to slow down the process right now, but I will try to work with the good chairman and the Secretary of State to figure out a solution to some of the problems I see. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Any other member for their first time? Any member for their first time? First time? Any member for their second time? Second time before the sponsor? Any cleanup, Chairman Zwanitzer?
No, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do believe the representative is correct. It's just continuous improvement in our statutes to update and make sure everything dovetails together, and especially when it comes to the Secretary of State's office and all of the corporates and businesses they oversee. It's complicated and it's evolving. And so I do think the good representative pointed out issues that we need to fix in the future. I don't think they immediately affect the bill before us, but maybe we can get an interim study or something to amend some things in our upcoming session this year. So again, I'd ask for your aye vote on concurrence.
Thank you. We are voting on a motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 27. A majority of the elected members is required. Chief Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrew.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Banks.
Aye.
Bear.
Aye.
Blackburn.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Burkhart.
Aye.
Burt.
Aye.
Clausen.
Aye.
Clifford excused. Connolly.
Aye.
Crago.
Aye.
Duncan.
Aye.
Eklund.
Aye.
Air.
Aye.
Flitner.
Aye.
Fortner.
No.
Gray.
No.
Greer.
Aye.
Hallinan.
Aye.
Haroldson.
No.
Harshman.
Aye.
Heiner.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
Hunt.
Aye.
Jennings excused.
No.
Kenner. Jennings, no. Kenner.
Aye.
Knapp.
Aye.
Larson Lloyd.
Aye.
Larson Dan.
No.
McGuire.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Nyman.
Aye.
Newsom. Newsom. Nicholas. Nicholas. Oakley.
No.
Aye. Nicholas, no. Oakley.
Aye.
Obermuller.
Aye.
O'Hearn.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Ottman.
No.
Paxton.
Aye.
Provenza.
Aye.
Roscoe.
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Sherwood.
Aye.
Simpson.
Aye.
Summers.
Aye.
Stith.
Aye.
Stivard.
No.
Sweeney,
Aye.
Walters,
Aye.
Washit,
Aye.
Western,
Aye.
Worf,
No.
Williams,
Aye.
Wilson,
Aye.
Winter,
No.
Yin,
Aye.
Zawanitzer.
Aye.
Mr. Speaker,
Aye.
Newsom,
Aye.
closing vote. Are there any changes? Bear, aye to no. Further changes? Knapp, aye to no. Heiner, aye to no. Further changes? Further changes. Closing vote. Vote is closed. 46 aye, 13 no, 1 excused.
By your vote, you have voted to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 27. All right, Chief Clerk, you need a few moments to organize the desk.
You want to do enrolled acts?
That would be great, Chief Clerk, but I want to give you plenty of time.
Ready? I have them.
All right, thank you, Chief Clerk. So members, we're at that order of business of signing of enrolled acts. The first act is enrolled act number 12, being House Bill 53. Chief Clerk.
An act relating to agriculture, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign enrolled act number 12, being original House Bill 53. I have so signed. The next enrolled act is House Enrolled Act 13, being House Bill 30. Chief Clerk, please read the enrolled act.
An act relating to utilities, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign enrolled act number 13, being original House Bill 30. I have so signed. Next enrolled act for consideration is House Enrolled Act 14, House Bill 44. Chief Clerk, please read the enrolled act.
An act relating to water development projects, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign enrolled act 14, being original House Bill 44. I have so signed. Next enrolled act is House Enrolled Act 15, House Bill 9. Please read the enrolled act.
An act relating to labor and employment, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign enrolled act 15, being original House Bill number 9. I have so signed. Thank you, members. The next order of business is the introduction, reading, and reference of bills. Is that where we are, Chief Clerk?
Yes, sir. Can you give me 2 seconds?
Yes, ma'am. We'll give you 20 seconds.
I'm ready.
Well, it took 2.5. Well done, Chief Clerk.
Thank you, sir.
So we're at that order of business of House bills on first reading. And for introduction, reading, and reference, first bill for our consideration is House Bill 41.
House Bill 41. I wasn't ready. House Bill 41, sponsored by Blockchain Financial Technology and Digital Innovation Technology.
First reading of the bill.
Intrastate crowdfunding exemption amendments.
House Bill 41 is referred to Committee Number 1, Judiciary. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 43.
House Bill 43, sponsored by Blockchain Financial Technology and Digital Innovation Technology.
First reading of the bill.
Digital Assets Amendments.
House Bill 43 is referred to Committee Number 1, Judiciary. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 103.
House Bill 103, sponsored by Representative Zwanitzer.
First reading of the bill.
Journalist privileged communications.
House Bill 103 is referred to Committee Number 1, Judiciary. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 76.
House Bill 76, sponsored by Representative Brown.
First reading of the bill.
Uniform statewide payment processing.
House Bill 76 is referred to Committee Number 2, Appropriations. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 105.
House Bill 105, sponsored by Representative Larson Lloyd.
First reading of the bill.
Health Facilities Task Force end date.
House Bill 105 is referred to Committee Number 2, Appropriations. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 107.
House Bill 107, sponsored by Representative Henderson.
First reading of the bill.
Retirement System Efficient Distribution Method.
House Bill 107 is referred to Committee Number 2, Appropriations. Next bill for our consideration is Senate File 56.
Senate File 56, sponsored by Travel,
First
Recreation,
reading.
Wildlife, and Cultural Resources.
Sorry, Chief Clerk. First reading of the bill.
Wyoming Gaming Commission modifications and corrections.
Senate File 56 is referred to Committee Number 2, Appropriations. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 88.
House Bill 88, sponsored by Representative Stiff.
First reading of the bill.
Data Center Tax Exemption Repeal.
House Bill 88 is referred to Committee Number 3, Revenue. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 114.
House Bill 114, sponsored by Representative Harshman.
First reading of the bill.
Property Tax Assessment.
House Bill 114 is referred to Committee Number 3, Revenue. Next bill for our consideration is House Joint Resolution 3.
House Joint Resolution 3, sponsored by Representative Hallinan.
First reading of the bill.
State Lands Mineral Royalties Constitutional Amendment.
House Joint Resolution Number 3 is referred to Committee Number 3, Revenue. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 106.
House Bill 106, sponsored by Representative Wilson.
First reading of the bill.
Wyoming Education Options Act.
House Bill 106 is referred to Committee Number 4, Education. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 95.
House Bill 95, sponsored by Representative Zwanitzer.
First reading of the bill.
Game Road Kill.
House Bill 95 is referred to Committee Number 6, Travel. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 39.
House Bill 39, sponsored by Representative Summers.
First reading of the bill.
Optometrist Practice Act Amendments.
House Bill 39 is referred to Committee Number 7, Corporations. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 79.
House Bill 79, sponsored by Representative Duncan.
First reading of the bill.
Subdivisions.
House Bill 79 is referred to Committee Number 7, Corporations. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 91.
House Bill 91, sponsored by Representative Duncan.
First reading of the bill.
Removal of unenforceable property covenants.
House Bill 91 is referred to Committee Number 7, Corporations. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 104.
House Bill 104, sponsored by Representative Greer.
First reading of the bill.
Uniform Trust Code Amendments.
House Bill 104 is referred to Committee Number 9, Minerals. Next bill for our consideration is House Bill 111.
House Bill 111, sponsored by Representative Washington.
First reading of the bill.
Access to autonomous gifts and organ transplants.
House Bill 111 is referred to committee number 10, Labor. Thank you very much, Chief Clerk. So members, I think there's 50 plus bills out there in committees. Some committees have a full load, some have a less of a load, and some of that is just flat out the topics that are on the bills. You'll probably note that there are some bills that I'm not sending out during this interim. They will be introduced as soon as we come back and reconvene. And those are ones that generally have to do with the health orders and energy, the broader energy topics. So they're not being pushed down. I just felt like we would try to gather them all up. And part of the reason is I know several of you have come to me and said, I've got several more bills coming on these topics. So I'm trying to group them up so that we can maybe kind of deal with these issues in as a topical matter, not bill by bill. So with that, Chief Clerk, do we have any messages from the Senate?
Not yet, sir.
I see Representative Wharf. Did you have a question or a privilege of the floor? Or excuse me, Representative Washut. My apologies. Representative Washut.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Privilege.
Please proceed, Representative Washut.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, the news carried a very interesting story about one of our Wyoming correctional officers who serves at the Medium Correctional Institute in Torrington. He was recently awarded the Medal of Valor by the American Correctional Association for his actions when he intervened in a stabbing that took place in the dining hall at the prison. And I just thought it'd be appropriate for the House of Representatives to note the work of Wyoming Correctional Officer Colin Calderon and maybe give him a round of applause.
Very good. Thank you very much, Representative Washut, for bringing that to our attention. We do appreciate the work of all of our corrections officers, and particularly the shout out to Mr. Calderon for his actions. So we appreciate that very much. Any other privileges of the floor? All right, Chief Clerk. So give me a sense of our order of business. We're waiting for messages from the Senate and they're waiting for ours, so we can stand at ease for a half an hour.
I have just received the messages, but you need to give me 2 seconds to sign off.
All right, we'll see if you can do it in under 2.
Probably not.
So we'll stand at ease for just a moment. Chief Clerk will let us know when she's ready. We'll come back together. Representative Sweeney, you have a privilege.
Privilege of the floor, Mr. Speaker.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So our next gathering is committee meetings. I think it's the week of the 22nd. And more particularly, I think it was previously lined out the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the 23rd, 24th, 25th. And if a committee only meets one time during that time period, but has a significant workload, what's the anticipation there?
So thank you for the question, Representative Sweeney. And so we are working with our LSO staff and our Senate colleagues. I am working with them to try to balance the committee time availability, because we obviously know we have committees that have some have a higher workload than others. So we're looking at the options of maybe giving more committee time for those committees that may request it or want it, and then less for those that don't need it. So we are looking at modifying what we did the last time somewhat to actually bear influence on what is actually before the committees. So there may be some adjustments, and we'll work with the committee chairman, and they'll certainly get that to you as they decide what bills they want to take up. So We are working toward that. As you will note, we already have bills on general file. We get bills out of these next committee meetings, and the pipeline will be primed. We will likely have general file on the first day we reconvene, which is not something that normally happens, and we will keep the pipeline going. I'll also make a note that in our next convening, the budget will be done the second week. So we're going to try to get some things done the first week, and then of course we'll spend a lot of time on the budget the second week, and then we'll crank it back up again. Doesn't mean we're going to slow down bills on that second week, but we'll try to taper it back so that we make sure that people have plenty of opportunity to engage in the budget discussions. Any other questions? Chief Clerk, messages from the Senate. Chief Clerk, would you unmute? I mean, I'm sure it sounded good the first time, but go ahead and give it to us.
Probably sounded better. Message 157. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 18, Universal Occupational Licensure. Ayes 29, noes 1. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk. Message 158. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 26, Animal Abuse Statutes Reorganization and Update. Ayes 30. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk. Message 159. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 53, Private Ground Ambulance Service Provider Assessments Act. Ayes 19, noes 11. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk.
So, Chief Clerk, so affirm to me that if we confirmed with our 4 bills this morning, as we just got completed, and they have concurred with the 3 Senate files, that there are no bills outstanding that need further consideration. Is that correct?
That's correct. We're good.
So members, there will not be any conference committees because all bills have been concurred with. So now what we're waiting on is there's a sigh of relief in the Chief Clerk, from the Chief Clerk. So now what we're waiting on is the finalization of the bills, and then the creation of the signature cheating, I think they call it, with the signature pages, and then we'll pass them back and forth. So Chief Clerk, I think based on the conversation we had earlier today, that we can recess until 2 p.m. and then complete those actions at 2 p.m. With a little bit of standing at ease as the papers get shuffled between the 2 bodies. Is that accurate, Chief Clerk?
We could do that. I also have received enrolled acts for you to sign. I need to pull off the sheet. If you'd give me 5 minutes, I could pull them off, bring them down. We can sign these. They could get to the executive branch.
Very good. We will stand at ease for 5 minutes. And members, for signing, there are no more votes on anything that we've done. So my colleagues that want to hit the road or on the road, want to continue, there are no more votes that you will be obligated to participate. We do need a quorum. We do need a quorum to continue our business. So I would appreciate that we have a quorum available. But to my colleagues, you're welcome to go on. Now, I see I have some questions. We'll start with Chairman Burkhart.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just for the people who might be headed westbound on Interstate 80, you might want to call our wonderful department that handles roads and get permission to travel. The interstate is pretty much closed almost the entire length.
Thank you. We certainly wish safe travels for all. Representative Wilson, Chairman Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just thinking ahead, and I know the email came out from the director of LSO and the leadership as far as the March session, but oftentimes as people look forward to having some sort of formal signing with the governor, and I'm wondering, has there been any discussion with his office looking ahead, or is that just not knowable as far as formal signings for any bills? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chairman Wilson. So members, Chairman Wilson brings up something that is very important to members as they bring forth constituent concerns and issues and pass a bill. The governor has always been very gracious about offering a signing ceremony for the sponsor and for maybe the interests that came forth with the issue. There has been discussions. I don't know that there's a final understanding or a final process in place. I think I will take that up with our LSO director and the governor's office, and we'll have something in place as we come back. We'll do our best to have something in place. So thank you for that, Chairman Wilson. Any other members? Thank you for your good work. We'll just stand at ease from, oh, say, Chairman Paxton, you have an announcement. Chairman Paxton, go ahead and unmute. Thank you.
I remember to do that. Just a reminder that your committee number 4 education will be meeting at noon, at 12 noon. It sounds like that's going to be our schedule now to hear the most recent Power Wyoming poll.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Certainly encourage folks to attend that, just like this morning with the Minerals Committee, probably very educational. I had Representative Chairman Olson, but he put his hand down. Chairman Olson, did you want to address the body?
No, thank you, Mr. Speaker. That was a misclick. Sorry. Thank you.
Misclicks. Representative Roscoe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will we get a Zoom invite to see this educational meeting, or how do I connect to that? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So it should be on your, go to the legislative website, and you can go to the committee meetings, and you should be able to go to education, and it says details, and there's two things. One, it says testify, and one that says watch. So you can go to the broadcast column and it says watch. So if you want to, if you're part of the committee, I would say you go to testify. If you want to just watch the proceedings, there is a link on our home calendars stream meetings on the LSO website. So thank you for inquiring about that. The public might be interested in that as well. Representative Sweeney.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. Privilege of the floor.
Please proceed.
So I really appreciated what the good chairman of Minerals and the committee put together for us this morning. It was invaluable, and I believe that at the end the slides will become available, and if I'm not correct, perhaps I might not be, but I believe the YouTube recording should be available for those that want to go back and take a look at that. But I'm not 100. I don't know technology, so but I really appreciate and wish to extend my appreciation to the good chairman of Minerals for getting that pulled together. So
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Representative Sweeney. So members, we're at that order of business with signing of enrolled acts. The first act is enrolled act number 4, being Senate File 43. Chief Clerk, please read the enrolled act.
An act relating to the Wyoming Energy Authority, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign enrolled act number 4, being original Senate File 43. I have so signed. Next enrolled act for consideration is enrolled act number 5, being Senate File 57. Chief Clerk.
An act relating to school finance, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign enrolled act number 5, being original Senate File 57. I have so signed. Next enrolled act is number 6, being Senate File 37. Chief Clerk.
An act relating to water development projects, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 6, being original Senate File 37. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act is Enrolled Act number 7, being original Senate File 14.
An act relating to insurance, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 7, being original Senate File 14. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act is number 8, being original Senate File 32. Chief Clerk.
An act relating to water, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 8, being original Senate File 32. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act is number 9, being original Senate File 60.
An act relating to ad valorem taxation of mineral production, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 9, being original Senate File 60. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act is number 10, being original Senate File 29.
An act relating to notaries, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 10, being original Senate File 29. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act is number 11, being original Senate File 54.
An act relating to the administration of government, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 11, being original Senate File 54. I have so signed. So members, because those were Senate files, you will note that they are complete as far as legislative action. The president has signed them. Well, the Senate clerk has signed them as the originating body. The president has signed them, and now as Speaker of the House, I've signed them on behalf of the House of Representatives. So these will now go to the executive branch for their consideration. So well done. That is I think that's not quite all of the, we've got a few more this afternoon, and that's what we're returning to do this afternoon. Chief Clerk, is there any other business before we take a recess?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Majority Floor Leader, I think 2 p.m. would be a really good time to reconvene. Would you help us with that, please?
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House stand in recess until 2 p.m.
You've heard the motion of the Majority Floor Leader. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. All those opposed? Thank you. So members, we appreciate it. We'll be back at 2 p.m. to conclude our business for this session. Please join the Education Committee at their noon meeting. Thank you. The House is in recess.